Hello, and thank you for viewing this update presentation about the 19 Polk transit lanes located on 7th and 8th Streets. During this presentation, I will give an overview of the 19 Polk transit lanes, share the results of our evaluation of their performance, and discuss our next steps. The 19 Polk temporary emergency transit lanes were installed during the COVID-19 pandemic as a way to reduce delays and keep buses moving. By keeping travel time short and buses evenly spaced, we were able to minimize crowding and reduce the amount of time passengers spend in proximity to each other on buses. This enabled better social distancing and enhanced the effectiveness of Muni service for people who rely on transit the most. The transit lanes were implemented on a temporary basis and must be removed within 120 days after the end of the COVID-19 emergency order, unless they are made permanent before then. Prior to installation of the temporary emergency transit lanes, the 19 Polk operated in mixed-flow traffic lanes on 7th and 8th Streets, leaving buses prone to delays due to traffic congestion. Delays on 7th and 8th Streets contributed to reduced reliability along the entire route. The 19 Polk temporary emergency transit lanes were installed by converting one general traffic lane on 7th and 8th Streets to a transit lane. The 8th Street transit lane runs southbound from Market Street to Bryant Street, and the 7th Street transit lane runs northbound from Townsend Street to Howard Street, with an additional segment from Howard Street to Stevenson Street to be implemented at a later date pending traffic signal improvements. This is a typical before and after cross-section of the transit lanes on 7th and 8th Streets. As you can see, the right lane closest to the curb was converted to a temporary transit lane on both streets. Here's a video of the 8th Street transit lane shortly after its installation in fall 2020. As you can see, the transit lane enabled the bus to pass through the intersection without having to stop for traffic, thereby saving time for all of the riders on board, as well as riders waiting at the stops ahead. I will now give an overview of the evaluation results, starting with a community survey that we conducted in spring and summer 2021 in the neighborhoods along the 19 Polk. A more detailed evaluation report will be available on our project website shortly. Of the people who responded to the survey, over half support making the temporary transit lanes permanent. The majority of respondents also said that it is extremely important to make sure Muni does not get delayed in traffic. However, responses varied considerably based on which mode respondents used to travel along 7th and 8th Streets. 91% of respondents who ride the bus along 7th and 8th Streets believed that it is somewhat, very, or extremely important to make sure Muni isn't delayed in traffic, compared to just 39% of respondents who drive. Among respondents who ride the 19 Polk frequently, the majority said that the temporary emergency transit lanes improve the reliability, travel time, and overall quality of the 19 Polk. Muni bus operators have perhaps the most direct experience with the temporary transit lanes on 7th and 8th. Some of them drive buses along the route multiple times a day. 89% of the Muni bus operators who drive the 19 Polk said that the temporary transit lanes have made their job easier. The 19 Polk serves a diverse group of neighborhoods along the eastern part of San Francisco. All of the neighborhoods shown directly benefit from faster travel times and better reliability on the 19 Polk. After the initial portions of the temporary transit lanes were installed on 8th Street during fall 2020, they helped keep travel times on the 19 Polk from growing longer. The temporary transit lanes held travel times on the 19 Polk constant, or improved them slightly, even as the number of other vehicles on 7th and 8th Streets continued to return. Despite reserving an existing general traffic lane for transit, there was little effect on traffic congestion on 7th, 8th, or nearby streets, with average traffic speeds only decreasing by 1 to 2 miles per hour after the transit lanes were installed. As I mentioned earlier, if you'd like to learn more about the evaluation results, a detailed evaluation report will be posted on our website shortly. From August to October, We will finish our evaluation of the 19 Polk transit lanes and continue to meet with community organizations in the area. We will then present the results of the evaluation, along with your comments and feedback, to the SFMTA Board of Directors so that they can decide whether or not to make the transit lanes permanent. That meeting will likely be in November. Thank you for viewing this presentation. If you have questions or would like to provide comments, please email or call us using the contact information shown.